Good day and welcome to this online lecture on the topic of assessment of physical activity with questionnaires. I am Dr. Vedrana Sember and this is blended learning course in collaboration between University of Ljubljana and University of Porto. In this lecture, we will explore and discuss the key concepts and practical applications related to assessment of physical activity with questionnaires. By the end of this lecture, you should have a deeper understanding of assessment of physical activity with questionnaires and be able to apply the knowledge gained to your own life and work. So, let's get started. Measuring physical activity with questionnaire is a common approach used in epidemiological research to assess an individual's level of physical activity. Physical activity questionnaires typically collect information about the frequency, duration, and intensity of physical activities that an individual engages during a specific period of time. Subjective measures are the most commonly used approach in epidemiological research as they are cost-effective and easy to administer. They include both open-ended and structured questionnaires. Open-ended questionnaires ask individuals to recall all physical activities they have engaged during a specific period, where on the other hand, structured questionnaires provide a list of physical activities for individuals to choose from. Overall, measuring physical activity with questionnaires can be an effective way to assess an individual's level of physical activity. However, it is important to use validated questionnaires and to consider the limitations of self-report measures when interpreting the results. There are several types of physical activity questionnaires that have been developed to assess physical activity levels in different populations. Some of the most common types include self-administered questionnaire. These questionnaires are completed by the participant without the assistance of an interviewer or researcher. They may be paper-based or electronic and may be completed at home or in a research setting. The next type is interviewer-administered questionnaire. These are questionnaires that are administered by an interviewer or researcher who asks the questions and records the participants' responses. This type of questionnaire may be used in situations where participants have difficulty reading or understanding written questions. Another type of questionnaire are recall questionnaires. These questionnaires ask participants to recall their physical activity levels over a specific time period, such as the past week or past month. They may also ask about the type, frequency, duration, and intensity of physical activity. Last, but not the least type, is logbook or diary questionnaire. These questionnaires ask participants to record their physical activity levels over a specific period of time in a diary or logbook. This type of questionnaire may provide more detailed information on the type, duration, and intensity of physical activity. There are also several physical activity questionnaires that are commonly used in research settings. The most commonly used questionnaires are International Physical Activity Questionnaire or IPAQ. This is a widely used questionnaire that assesses physical activity levels in adults aged 18 to 65 years. It has been translated into multiple languages and has been used in numerous studies worldwide. The IPAQ has been shown to have a good retest reliability with a correlation coefficients ranging from 0.71 to 0.89. The validity of the IPAQ has been tested against objective measures of physical activity and has been found to have moderate to good validity with a correlation coefficients ranging from 0.21 to 0.80. Another very widely used questionnaire is Global Physical Activity Questionnaire and Eurobarometer survey. Eurobarometer survey is a cross-sectional survey that includes questions about physical activity levels, sedentary behavior, and other health-related behaviors. The survey is conducted across European Union member states and is designed to provide information about the health status of the European population. The physical activity questions in Eurobarometer survey are based on the International Physical Activity Questionnaire or IPAC. GPAC is a self-reported questionnaire that assesses physical activity levels in adults aged 18 to 69 years old. It includes questions about physical activity in three domains. First is work-related physical activity, second is transport-related, and third is leisure time physical activity. GPAC is designed to provide estimates of physical activity levels at the population level and has been used in multiple studies worldwide. A study of GPAC in adults aged 18 to 65 years in 9 countries found that the questionnaire had good test-retest reliability with the correlation coefficients ranging from 0.71 to 0.92 and good criterion validity, correlation coefficients ranging from 0.22 to 0.70. A study of Eurobarometer survey in adults aged 15 years and older in 27 European Union member states found that the questionnaire had good test-retest reliability with correlation coefficients ranging from 0.67 to 0.94 and good criterion validity with correlation coefficients ranging from 0.14 to 0.67 when compared to accelerometers. Another, also very widely used questionnaire is physical activity scale for the elderly. This questionnaire assesses physical activity levels in older adults and includes questions about leisure, household, and occupational activities. It has been validated in multiple studies and is widely used in research. Physical activity scale for the elderly has been found to have good test-retest reliability with the correlation coefficients ranging from 0.72 to 0.92. It has also been found to have good validity with the correlation coefficients ranging from 0.30 to 0.77 when compared to other measures of physical activity in older adults. Overall, the choice of questionnaires depends on the specific research question and the population being studied. There are also some most commonly used physical activity questionnaires in children and adolescents. The first is Physical Activity Questionnaire for Children. The Physical Activity Questionnaire for Children has been found to have good validity and reliability for assessing physical activity in children aged 8 to 14 years. It has been validated against accelerometry and has been found to have moderate to strong correlations with other measures of physical activity. Another physical activity questionnaire for children is Children's Leisure Activities Study Survey, or CLASS. The CLASS has been found to have moderate to good test-retest reliability and validity for assessing physical activity and sedentary behavior in children aged 9 to 13 years. Last but not the least, of most commonly used questionnaires in children and adolescents is Physical Activity Questionnaire for older children. This questionnaire has been found to have good test-retest reliability and moderate to high validity for assessing physical activity in children aged 8 to 14 years. After conducting physical activity questionnaire, it is very important to properly score the results. Scoring the results of physical activity questionnaire depends on the specific questionnaire being used. Most physical activity questionnaires use scoring systems that assign points or scores to questions or category of questions. Those scores are then used to calculate a summary score that reflects the participant's level of physical activity. It is important to use the scoring system specified by the questionnaire developers to ensure that the results are consistent and comparable across studies. Researchers should also be aware of any potential limitations or biases associated with the scoring system and interpretation of the results accordingly. There is also important to note that physical activity questionnaires have some potential strengths and limitations when using them. The main strengths of physical activity questionnaires are: they are very easy to administer. Physical activity questionnaires can be administered quickly and efficiently to large groups of people, making them a practical tool for research and public health initiatives. They are also cost-effective. Physical activity questionnaires are relatively inexpensive compared to other methods of measuring physical activity, such as accelerometers or direct observation. Physical activity questionnaires capture various types of activity. They can capture a broad range of activities, including leisure time, occupational, and transportation-related activities. Questionnaires allow for comparisons. They allow comparisons between different populations or subgroups within populations. And last but not the least is that they can provide detailed information. They provide detailed information on the frequency, duration, and intensity of physical activity, as well as the type of activity. The main limitations of physical activity questionnaires are: questionnaires are self-reported data. They rely on self-reported data, which can be subject to recall bias and social desirability bias. They have limited accuracy. Physical activity questionnaires may have limited accuracy, particularly for estimating the intensity of physical activity. Questionnaires have also limited detail. They may not capture all types of physical activity, particularly those that are incidental or unplanned. They have also limited generalizability. Physical activity questionnaires may not be equally valid or reliable across different cultural or linguistic groups. And last is that they have limited ability to measure change. Physical activity questionnaires may not be sensitive enough to detect small changes in physical activity levels over the time. Overall, physical activity questionnaires can be a valuable tool for researchers and public health professionals, but they should be used in conjunction with other measures of physical activity and interpreted with caution. In conclusion, the assessment of physical activity levels through questionnaires can provide a valuable insight into the physical activity behaviors of individuals and populations. However, it is important to carefully select the questionnaire that is appropriate for the specific research question and population being studied, and also to consider potential biases and limitations in self-reported data. Combining questionnaires with objective measures of physical activity, such as accelerometers, can provide a more comprehensive understanding of physical activity behaviors. Through this blended learning course, we hope to have provided a solid foundation for understanding the use of questionnaires in assessing physical activity levels and to equip you with the knowledge and skills needed to effectively apply this tool in your own research and practice. Thank you for your participation in this blended learning course, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.